Hello everybody, this is the Starving Martian, and right now we are continuing our look at the Mars Attacks Invasion trading card set from 2012. This is part 2 of what will probably be a 3 or 4 part look at these cards. This card set, as I mentioned last time, and if you missed the first part, just click on my name, Starving Martian, find the Mars Attacks trading card playlist, and they'll all be there. But I mentioned last time that this card set is divided up into two groups. There's the story of Mars Attacks Invasion, which is a reimagining, a retelling of the Mars Attacks plotline. And then there's Mars Attacks, kind of the history of the comics and whatnot. So this is the second part of the storyline. This is card number 31, and it's called Subterranean something or other. Let's see. Catacombs. Subterranean Catacombs. So I see these two have wandered down into underground, hoping to escape the Martians, and they find these giant bugs have hung these corpses up to dry for later consumption. Your classic out of the fire, yeah, out of the frying pan rather, and into the fire scenario. Next is After the Apocalypse. That's what it's called. So if you've ever been curious what it's going to look like after the apocalypse, that's what the artist of this card imagines. How close they get well, that remains to be seen. Suburban Nightmare is up next. There we are. See some Martians there, torching the town. Shopping for Terror. I like this card. Classic return to the Burning Flesh formula. Next up is Barbarians at the Gate. There we are. This kind of reminds me of a card called the Scorchers. It was featured in the Mars Attacks 50th Anniversary Book Collection. You'll find that in my playlist as well. There's a card called the Scorchers, which show how the Martians come in with their flamethrowers and like purify everything after they've taken it over and killed everybody. Wall Street Wipeout. Fury on the Farm. Martians are well decked out here. They seem to be using some sort of gas weapon. Which is unfortunate. Being on a farm, I would have liked to see some burning cattle. The Government in Disarray. I don't even know if this is a Mars Attacks card. It could just be from headlines almost any year. Civilian Resistance. Oops, they're certainly ready to resist. You got two guys with guns. You got one guy with binoculars. The ultimate weapon. Here's one called Saved. These guys are being rescued by these gentlemen here. That's the Novus Vira, I believe it's pronounced. We saw them in Mars Attacks Heritage. They've also been in the comics, the IDW comics. Bloodshed on the Battlefield, which is, where you would expect to find bloodshed. But when Mars attacks, the entire Earth is a battlefield, and that's a big spider. Get away from me, you eight-legged freaks! Retaking Red Square. So yeah, the Russians are having a little bit of luck. Kudos to them. Action in the East. I said draw, you card. And Alliance Assembled. So looks like the people are starting to get their act together. These Martians are starting to go down. Does Earth actually have a chance? Will this invasion be thwarted? Here's one called Turning the Tide. He looks very triumphant on top of his pile of Martian corpses. And Struggle for Supremacy. Yeah, giant spider, crab, wasp, monster things are, hard to struggle against. Alright, next up is Science Unleashed. So when tides start to turn against the Martians, they crank up their game. And now they got these mutant freaks. This guy here has a drill hand. Check that out. So they've been kidnapping humans, abducting them, if you will, experimenting on them, and now they're coming out with a new wave of troopers turning humanity against itself. Losing ground. Oh no. We were starting to do so good, and now they got giant robots. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Anytime you get a Martian and a giant robot, it's cool, but I do miss the design of the original robots. That classic look. But this one's not too bad. Alright, Alliance annihilated. Oh no. Humanity is not looking so good. I guess this guy was a Alliance member. This gentleman right here. He should have stopped while he was ahead. Huh? Yeah? No? Oh well. I thought it was funny. Alright. See this guy here? Okay, this card, by the way, is called Soldiers of Science. He's a weird looking Martian. He's got these little tendril-y things in front of his face. These guys have been around since the beginning. Okay, this is the cover of Mars Attacks 50th Anniversary Collection, which I mentioned earlier, but it's just designed to look like a wrapper from the original card set. And you'll see it's the same Martian with the same funny looking mouth thing going on, the tendrils in front of his mouth. And that was one of the early designs for the Martians, and they were going to go with that up to the point where they actually put it on the wrapper, and then they refined it and modified it to make it more skull-like. So we finally have a canon explanation for who and what these guys are. It turns out they work in the science division, and that's some kind of biological filter mask or something that they've got grown over their mouths to protect them. So that's pretty cool. A dire warning. Danger! Danger, Will Robinson! Very dire. The Robot Army. And yeah, this is a little more like it. I love those little antennas on top of his head. Still not exactly the old style, but they made a classic looking robot, and I do appreciate that. Twisted Experiments up next. I have no idea what that used to be. Pretty sure what that used to be. And they let him keep his underwear, so that was nice. Okay, Alien Abduction. I assume he's already been abducted if he's in this alien, I don't know what that is. Hairdryer, I guess. Martian Monster Men. As I said, the Martians are taking people and turning them into humans and setting them against their own family and neighbors. Yeah, so that successful alien resistance that we had going for a while, it's more or less shot. Counter Insecticide. And I said it in the last part, but the bugs in this series just have a thing for tearing off ladies' shirts. I don't know why they do that. Were they specially bred to be horny insects? I do not know. Or are these cards specially designed to sell to horny teens? It's a possibility too. Victory at hand? Sadly, it's not victory for us. And again, the robot back there, love the claws on the hand, so. Our governments have fallen. These dudes down here have definitely fallen. Martians reign supreme. And the very last card in the story portion of Mars Attacks Invasion is The Occupation Begins. And guess what the next card series is going to be called? That's right, the next card series up is Mars Attacks Occupation. So these guys are already in line. They're all chained up, ready to go. She seems to be the next. Don't look too happy about it. And, you know, becoming a slave to the Martians will ruin your day. And that was the story section of Mars Attacks Invasion. I said it before, and I'll keep saying it till we're done with this card set. This is a really good Mars Attacks trading card series. I highly recommend tracking it down. Your best bet, if you don't have a store nearby you that sells these sort of things, would be eBay, I believe. You can get them from anywhere from $30 to $60, depending on how many of the subsets you want to tack onto it. I only have one subset currently for this, so we're not going to be going hog wild on the subsets, but I made sure to collect all of the core sets themselves. So we're going to end on that note. This has been The Starving Martian. But even though the story part is over, there's still a good chunk left. We got cards 59 through the end of the series, plus, through 95, plus I think 4 chase cards. So we'll be looking at those next time around. Until then, this has been The Starving Martian. Hoping you guys had a good time and reminding you to keep watching the skies.